Well, happy Friday morning, everybody. Day after Thanksgiving. I hope you all had a fantastic day with your families of thanks, gratitude. Sad day, though. A very sad day. Um, Sad day for this family in West Virginia. This is WWP Reacts. My name is Bill. I was a guardsman for a number of years in a couple of different states. Where I lived back when I was a teacher in the 80s and 90s. All the way up until 9/11 when I went back on active duty after 9/11. I was in the guard and then in the reserves and then on active duty. But looking at her there, um, I know the pride that she had of being a private first class and um, serving about 2 years in the National Guard on the day she was killed last Wednesday, was it? Or Tuesday? Shot twice by an Afghani who Biden with bringing in these folks when we left Afghanistan. So the saga continues of the killing of leaving Afghanistan in such a hurry. Brought him in. He had worked for the CIA, supposedly, probably as an interpreter over there. So that gave him okay to come here. But he lived in Washington State, drove all the way across the country to shoot our National Guardsmen. It's really sad to think of a National Guardsman getting killed in America doing her job. It's a hard day for me because you can see behind me things that I have accumulated, or some of the things of my time in service. A letter from President Bush, accommodations, other things. Really nothing from when I was young and a private in the National Guard. Didn't do a whole heck of a lot. I mean, trained. We got ready for disasters. The National Guard then was a little different than it is today. We were a strategic force, not an operational force like they are today. And I just want to play some of this and kind of talk a little bit about it, and then go to President Trump and his talking to the troops yesterday, and him discussing this. Can you imagine he's talking to the troops all over? I'll get to that in a second. I'm getting ahead of myself. So let me play this.
The nation learned of the tragic passing of Specialist Sarah Beckstrom, a 20-year-old member of the West Virginia National Guard. But beyond the headlines, one voice captures the deepest sorrow, the voice of her father, Gary Beck.
It's really sad, right? I mean, she's 20 years old, not even old enough to drink. Been serving for 2 years. She went in 2023. I'm assuming she was an MP.
Beckstrom. My baby girl has passed to glory. This has been a horrible tragedy, he said, expressing the heartbreak that no parent should ever face. In just a few words, he conveyed the magnitude of a father's love and the devastating impact of losing a child to senseless violence. Sarah Beckstrom was more than a soldier. She was a daughter, a sister, a friend, and a devoted National Guardsman who answered the call to serve her state and nation.
And I read she volunteered. They took volunteers out of the West Virginia National Guard that wanted to go and do this duty. Now, I volunteered for some things because hey, it was good. It was money, right? I mean, if I was in between and young, she probably said, "Hey, this is a great opportunity. I'm going to do something good for my nation. I'm going to go protect Washington D.C., make it safer." And she ends up getting killed. Let the gravity of that set in. I have a son who's in the military. He's been in the military teen years. From 2008 to 2019, he went on deployments as a special operator for 11 times. I worried every day he was away. And I was fortunate I never got the call. I did about some of his friends because I was on active duty in the DC area, and I'd go see them at Walter Reed. It's not pleasant.
Her courage, determination, and selfless commitment to protecting others defined her life. And now, her father's words remind us all of the personal cost behind every headline, the human stories that often go untold. As we remember specialists.
And you know what? I subscribe to New York Times. I haven't seen one article about this in New York Times. I also subscribe to the Washington Sun, which is a real conservative paper. That's all they're talking about. But our New York Times, our Washington Post, they're not putting the humanity of this. That's her high school graduation 2 years ago.
Sarah Beckstrom, we honor her life, her bravery, and the love of a father who must carry the weight of a loss no parent should endure. May her memory live on, and may her family find strength in their grief. Rest in peace, Sarah Beckstrom.
Beautiful young lady, had everything going for her. Rest of her life ahead of her. Gone, 20 years old. This is her funeral or procession, probably into the airport. I'm gonna go fast forward a little bit, but I want you to see the guardsmen in these vehicles. That's those are all vehicles of the District Columbia. We go here. You see National Guardsmen there adjoining her, accompanying her casket, I would assume. At this point, to probably Andrews Air Force Base to be flown back to West Virginia. I want to get to. This was must have been last night. Firemen giving appropriate salutations and for a hero that was shot like an animal in the street, cold blooded. I read he was shot her and then he double tapped her, shot her again while she was down. What an animal. Bunch of military police from Joint Base Myers, so it used to be called Fort Myers, but now they've combined it because there's a Air Force facility right next to it. A lot of the combination of ports. It's very nice to see the support of all the law enforcement and fire department personnel escorting her body. Okay, let me back out of this. Let me escape out of here. Let's go and let's look at President Trump in his address yesterday with all of the service members overseas and all over that called in like a massive Zoom call. I've been on a few of those while I was deployed.
Okay, we're all set. Start. Are we ready? Chris, we ready? Yep, we're good. Go ahead. Yeah. Everybody sees us. I see you. A lot of great-looking faces.
See, he's looking at the troops on the monitors.
Right? If you are, wave. If you're not, and you can leave and go have turkey. Good. I think everyone's waving. Thank you very much. And I'm honored to speak with so many incredible members of the U.S. military and to wish all of you a very happy Thanksgiving. Before we begin, I want to express the anguish and the horror of our entire nation at the terrorist attack yesterday in our nation's capital, in which a savage...
That's what it is. It's a terrorist attack. It's these little bites of terrorism, not the big explosion of New York City in 2001 that a lot of Americans have forgotten about, that I talk about a lot, because there's a whole generation that was born after that doesn't even know anything about that. But these little bites of terrorism. This Muslim here shooting them, this Afghani here shooting somebody. And I'm sorry, if it's a Muslim that did it, it's a Muslim that did it. That's how it is. It's not discrimination. It's not racism. None of that bullshit that people want to spell. Anyways, I'm just going to let the president talk a few minutes and then I'm going to end this call.
Monster gunned down 2 service members in the West Virginia National Guard who were deployed as part of the DC task force, which has done such an incredible job. I mean, until yesterday, we literally had no incidents for many months. It was the safest place imaginable, and this is a different kind of crime. This is a really bad crime. Millions of Americans are praying for those heroes and their families, and I must unfortunately tell you that just seconds before I went on, right now, I heard that Sarah Beckstrom of West Virginia, one of the guardsmen that we're talking about, highly respected, young, magnificent person, started service in June of 2023, outstanding in every way. She's just passed away. She's no longer with us. She's looking down at us right now.
Yeah, can you imagine being all those service members, right? They're watching in, talking to the president talking to them, and they're in danger areas. And a young lady, a National Guardsman, is in the capital of the United States of America, Washington D.C., and gets gunned down by a person who came in here in 2021 on asylum out of Afghanistan, an Afghani that I guess worked with our government at some point doing something, but obviously not vetted, drove all the way from Washington State with a planned, premeditated murder. And I hope Judge Janir Pirro and the Department of Justice and the judges take this as a capital murder crime, because that's what it is, and he deserves the death penalty. That's my opinion. A couple more words for the president.
Her parents are with her. It's just happened. She was savagely attacked. She's dead. Now with us. Incredible person. Outstanding in every single way, in every department. Just horrible. As you know, the other young man is fighting for his life. He's in very bad shape. He's fighting for his life, and hopefully we'll get better news with respect to him. And the monster that did this is also in serious condition. But we won't even talk about him. As you may know, DHS has confirmed that the suspect is an Afghan national, flown here by the previous administration, who was such a bad administration. And I have a picture of a plane. This is what it looked like when they came in. It was total bedlam. Do you remember that period of time? Total bedlam.
Yeah, bedlam is right.
People crammed onto the plane. And the toughest, meanest, most capable physically got on the plane. Not the people that we were looking for or that they wanted to bring in. Here's a picture for you. Just take a look at that plane. Standing on top of each other and sitting on top of each other. This is what we had under the Biden administration. That whole thing should have never, ever happened. They should have left from a different base. They should have left from Bagram, as you know, and it would have been a much different story. But they didn't do that, and this was just a rout, just a terrible situation. This heinous atrocity reminds us that we have no greater national security priority than ensuring that we have full control over the people that enter and remain in our country. For the most part, we don't want them. They come in illegally, have a lot of problems. Their countries force them in because their countries are smart. They don't want them. Let's give them to the American.
So this was a great speech to them, and then the reporters afterwards asked him, "Are you going to go to her funeral?" You know, I mean, she died yesterday. They're just incredulous. Anyways, this is Bill at WWP Reacts, and my heart goes out to their family. Hope you'll have a great day after Thanksgiving and a wonderful weekend. Talk to you soon. Like and share as I grow this channel. Thank you. Bye bye.